All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Aaron Lichtig, and I'm a Xometry guy, former Jeopardy champion, and host of Ok Xoomer, conversations with creative engineers and more. And we're lucky to have as a guest today Jon Bostock. Now, Jon is the CEO and founder of Truman's, which is a direct-to-consumer cleaning products company. It's very near and dear to my heart. I spent the first 7 years of my career working in laundry on Tide, Gain, Downy and Bounce at Procter and Gamble. So I love this space. So excited to talk to Jon. He's also got great manufacturing industry experience. He worked at Big Ass Fans, which, as you might guess, makes big ass fans. And he also has some experience at GE, General Electric. So welcome, Jon. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's super awesome to be here, and hopefully we can play a little Jeopardy towards the end of the interview.
Nice. Let's do it. Always up for it. Okay, so Jon, tell us a little more about Truman's and what got you interested in wanting to help reshape the cleaning industry.
Yeah, look, you know it better than most, but the companies are so big and broken. And really, when you look at the way that they go to market, it's not conducive to today's lifestyle. So most people don't think about cleaning as an innovative category. They think about cleaning as a category that you need as part of your day-to-day life. What we observed is a category that simply doesn't meet today's lifestyle. So when you think about moving a product from point A to B, getting the product out of a manufacturing facility into a distribution center and onto a retail floor, and then obviously to a house, it's extraordinarily inefficient because most manufacturers, when you think about a bottle of Windex, as an example, they're actually making the product a ready-to-use product from the manufacturing site and then putting that product into the supply chain. Ultimately, the consumer buys a ready-to-use product. In the end, what they've done is they've transferred a product, most likely a 27-ounce bottle, that's 98% water. So when you think about all of the infrastructure required to facilitate that transfer, it makes zero sense. So we looked at the category and said, number one, it's broken from a supply chain perspective because most of these manufacturers are shipping water. Number two, the brand structure is completely broken. When you think about the brands that are in the marketplace, most of them don't make any sense to the consumer, and they're built off of a legacy model where the idea of a house of brands made sense as opposed to a branded house. And then finally, when you look at just the ingredients and the overall impact of the cleaning category, most products are toxic when they don't have to be. Most products are filled with ingredients that are harmful to us to breathe or to the waterways. And so we're really rethinking not only the product category from a supply chain perspective, so we ship concentrates only, we never ship water as one example, from a simplicity standpoint in that we don't add a lot of SKUs to our mix. We don't add products with a lot of different scents and colors and fragrances. And for the most part, we look for non-toxic technologies that work. It doesn't mean in every single situation we're going to point to a non-toxic product, but for the most part, we believe in non-toxic offerings and simplification. And so we're really flipping the entire model on its head.
So just so our audience knows, what are some of the cleaning categories that Truman is in?
Yeah, so we launched with a very singular product category. We launched in spray cleaning only. And what we looked at were products like Windex, as an example, in glass cleaner, and other products that sit on the shelf, whether they're for a kitchen or a bathroom. What we saw is tremendous waste. So in the beginning, we focused very singularly on the spray category, which is glass, kitchen, bath, and floors. Now, since then, we've expanded to the category that you love, which is laundry, which we launched on the 21st of April, dish as well for automatic dishwashers, and a toilet product. And I think what the brand promise does is it delivers on this idea that we're going to get you the product is in an efficient way possible. We're going to minimize the amount of toxicity in the products, but we're still going to give you performance that matches virtually any brand that you know out in the marketplace. And by the way, we're going to do it at a great price point, and we can do that because of the simplicity in the supply chain.
What are some of the biggest trends that you see out there that are having an impact on either your consumers or the kind of direct-to-consumer space as a whole?
Yeah, I think, look, we're today all at home. And we are facing a situation that I don't think any of us could have predicted. So the world is changing rapidly in front of us. Now, 6 months ago, the world was changing just as fast, just in a different way. So we're constantly dealing with change. I think for the most part, what we see, what we observe, and I think others need to be mindful of, are impacts to supply chain. And what I mean by that is too many products are moving from point A to B that are too large, that don't make sense. There are a lot of different product categories like the one I described in cleaning that do not make sense as you think about the way the product is designed. What we are going to see globally is a focus on how do you shrink products? How do you make supply chains much more efficient, much more on demand? And so ultimately, you can't think about the environment being supply chains that have a long tail, that are very complex, large movements, because ultimately, in situations and structures like that, you're not able to adapt and move quickly. So fast forward to where we are today, when we were facing all of this dynamic changes in the marketplace, here we are in a situation where everyone's at home. Most consumers, for example, are relying on goods to be shipped to their home, not sitting on the retail shelf. And you have product categories that are traditionally large, paper towels, toilet paper, having a very difficult time moving those products through the supply chain. We also see similar issues in our food supply chain and other supply chains that are critical. Just the amount of lead time, the amount of scale that's required to facilitate moving the products is just too great. So you're going to have to see a simplification of the process, more just-in-time manufacturing, and a much simpler product offering for people. And I think those trends are going to continue to businesses as well. Most businesses are under the same pressure to be efficient, get products that they need to do services, and deliver on that. You simply can't have a long supply chain and keep pace with the way the world is changing.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot in the custom manufacturing business.
Absolutely.
I think we had a lot of folks across industries. This is not just consumer, this is across the board, where people had supply chains that
That's
were,
right.
primarily China based. They had a lot of, single point of failure all the way over in China. And what they are looking to do is they're looking at new supply chain type of solutions. And Xometry fits quite well into that model. It's a very flexible and agile kind of model, kind of like what you were describing, where you can get parts you need from different sources when you have one country that's down, or one part of the United States that's down.
No, that's absolutely right. And look, the reality is that where you all fit in, and it's ultimately what we see and what we try to do as well, is you not only need efficiency within the supply chain as you think about the supply chain, but we include new product development within the supply chain. So the ability to rapidly develop products that meet the needs of customers, and then obviously get those products from a ideation phase all the way through commercialization faster than anyone else. And so, when you think about the supply chain shrinking and the supply chain becoming much more efficient and the needs to make it work faster, oftentimes what people forget is that the new product development process starts the supply chain. I mean, that ultimately is what kicks the process all off, and your ability to move faster as it relates to ideation, getting products into the market that can be tested, prove that they work, getting them flowing through the system and ultimately commercialized at scale. That's the key to winning. And so, we took that philosophy with our company. We developed technologies that allowed us to go to market efficiently. Once we know it works, we're going to build better technologies moving forward. So we absolutely agree with kind of what you guys do, but we think ironically, it's very consistent with the way we think about the world, and we're a direct-to-consumer cleaning brand.
Awesome. And as you mentioned, you've taken that idea that you had about how to change a category and come up with creative ways of manufacturing that, marketing it, and bringing that to life. What advice would you have for somebody, whether they're an engineer or an entrepreneur, who wants to do that, wants to take an idea that's close to their heart and turn it into a reality?
Yeah, look, I think for the most part, our risk profile has shifted. When we think back to the way our ancestors thought about the world, most of our ancestors took significant leaps. They left countries behind and came to the US with virtually nothing. those are significant leaps and those are significant risks. I think a lot of us find ourselves tethered to big, bulky operating environments. And oftentimes we wonder, why aren't we making these huge leaps and huge changes? Here's what I would say. Oftentimes we feel like we want to do more. It is uncommon for someone to get through their day thinking, I wonder if I can do more than this. Everyone strives to do better. But oftentimes we get stuck in the environments that we're in, whether we're at a big company or a mid-sized company and we're just part of that machine and part of the quarter-to-quarter work. And we look outside and say, I want to do more. We forget that our ancestors took these huge leaps, and maybe we can't take as big of a leap as going to a different country and starting new, but we can start taking baby steps. And I'm telling you, the most important thing someone can do is say, I want to make an impact. I want to change the way something works and take a small step. Because most of us try to take too big of a leap too early, and we either get scared or it doesn't work and we say, I'm never taking another leap. And so if you start taking small steps, taking small leaps towards actually making something better, you're actually going to find yourself winning, taking those steps and having the outcome be positive. And then you find yourself taking bigger and bigger and bigger leaps. I look at my career. I went from GE to Big Ass Fans to starting my own company. Leaving Big Ass Fans, or leaving GE to go to Big Ass Fans, was a leap. That was risk.
For sure.
Going from Big Ass Fans, selling it, to starting my own company was a risk. There is no way I could have gone from GE to starting my own company. The risk profile is different. So we all have to think about taking steps in a way that makes sense for us. And I could point to my 10-year career at GE and say, look, I started taking these little steps and here's how the sum of those steps made something bigger. But look, we all have to move. We've got to decide what it is we want to accomplish and what it is we want to do. And we have to start moving in the direction of going after it. And a good reminder is when we think about our ancestors, to just remind ourselves, they took extraordinary risks. They took extraordinary leaps. Us thinking about a new way to design a machine or thinking about a new way to design a widget for a process, that's not that big of a leap. But let's do it, because the ultimate outcome can be huge. And the ultimate impact of that decision can end up changing a process or a company. And we have no idea how that will then inspire others to behave in that manner. So I think the ultimate goal is, look, you take a leap, you take a bigger leap, and you take a bigger leap and let momentum build.
That's a great way to look at it. Instead of using your own situation as a frame of reference or your neighbor's situation, look back at the past and look back at some of those massive leaps that all of us have, even within our own families, the things that people overcame.
That's right. And one of the most amazing things to think about when you start really drilling into that is all of us can make an impact. Virtually every single company touches on something that's a major trend, whether it's transportation issues, whether it's housing issues, whether it's health issues. When we think about all the different industries that we touch, we can make a significant impact. I could point to examples when I was in GE Appliances working with microwaves of all things and talk about how we made impact as it related to public health. So no matter what you do as a leader, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a marketer, whatever your path is that you chose to do, you can make a huge impact. You have to start and you have to make that first leap. And then once you make that leap, think about making bigger ones as you go.
Awesome. Well, Jon, thank you again for joining us here today. This was Jon Bostock. He's the CEO and founder of Truman's. If you haven't checked out Truman's, check out their website. Also, their Twitter feed and LinkedIn feed are great. There's wonderful content there. We didn't get into that too much, but Truman's, they are fantastic marketers in addition to being innovative product people. So Jon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will be back with a few more episodes in a couple of days. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.